what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Anyway, this is the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast, episode 121. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing? Burley, welcome back. You were absent last week, climbing Mount Everest, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes. I was climbing all the rest of the mountains. They're all claimed by me.
Yeah, I was trying to get up there with you, but Tenzin Norgay and all those Sherpa guys, they stopped me because they told me I had to do the show with Carl. So
Okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, after I climbed all the mountains, I did beat all those Sherpas in a drinking contest. So.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Well, it's good to have you back, man. And Carl, how you doing?
I'm trying to stay warm in this frigid, cold front over here.
Yeah.
So I got my long sleeves on. I'm in this terrible insulated apartment that only gets up to 65 degrees, and when the temperature is below what was it? Oh, it's at 0 right now. We went up a degree.
Well, Carl's just teasing everybody because last week he was at the Buffalo game, of course, in Kansas City, and he was shirtless and holding that beer and just rooting for the Bills, and all. Unfortunately,
which number did you have painted on you?
It was in Cincinnati. They played the Bengals. And it wasn't last week. Come on.
Oh, that's right. Oh, well. Hey, I'm just trying to have fun, man. Because my 49ers lost.
Actually,
we didn't even.
Home. Wait, Bills played at home. It was sad. It was very sad.
Yeah,
thing.
but we didn't even have a quarterback, man. I mean, it's like, come on. You got to have some kind of rule change when it comes to quarterbacks in the playoffs. I mean, they should have like a 3 emergency third quarterback, because in the game, our Mr. Irrelevant, our rookie quarterback, who was named offensive rookie of the year this last week, he goes down because he has basically now he's probably going to have Tommy John surgery because the rusher that smashed into him just destroyed his elbow on his throwing arm. And so then we put the third stringer Josh Johnson in there, and he's been on like 16 different teams, and he got a concussion. And then it's like it came down to like Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, the running back, is like he's like doing the Wildcat and doing all this stuff. It's like
I didn't
the
watch.
Eagles.
That's absurd.
Yeah, the Eagles.
You can have 3 quarterbacks on your roster. Just sometimes you don't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, like usually you only suit 2 for games. That's the problem, especially in the
you could
playoffs.
suit 3, but you know what? They didn't think of it. They just thought we'll coast by. It'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think next year when they're building the team, they're gonna have 4 just in case.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but for this podcast, obviously, there's only the 3 of us here. There's no emergency 4th podcast member here this time. So, yeah, we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about E3. We're going to be talking about Jedi Survivor, the news that came out of that this week, PlayStation 5's PS Plus collection. We're going to be talking about that as well. PSVR 2. Seems like Sony kind of miscalculated on that. We're going to be talking about that. And our topic of the show, climate change in video games. So stay tuned for that as well as our pick of the week. And you'll be surprised. We're setting a precedent here on this edition of the show where all of us are picking the same game. And I wonder what game that could be. We're going to be talking about that later on. So anyway, for all of you out there, we're going to be talking about, of course, the games that we've been playing this past week before we get into the news. But before we do that, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level, $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like. If that feature is available there, then spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
I actually went back because of the topic of the show for this week. When it comes to climate change and video games, I went back to Horizon Forbidden West for a little while to play that, just to play through it a little bit more. And then, of course, Hi-Fi Rush. I've been playing more of Hi-Fi Rush, and it's been getting really good reviews. It got like I think a 9 on IGN. So yeah, I've been playing that. So yeah, that's me. How about you, Burley? What have you been playing?
I've got a few different games. I played and beat Mega Man 11. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of time, a lot of frustration with that, because it is like any classic Mega Man. They make things hard and stupid, some of the stuff, but the whole double gear mechanic of increasing the power of your normal shots or your special weapons with the attack gear and making things faster with the speed gear so you can get through quicker and slow down everything around you is really, really fun. I've started up One Piece Odyssey.
Finally.
Yes.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm enjoying it. If you're a One Piece fan, I think you'll enjoy it. The story's not too bad, but here's one thing, just so you know, there is no English dub. It's all Japanese voice acting. So they've got the subtitles, so you have to actually read.
Yeah,
you can't just be like, I don't have to put my headphones.
Lazy.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that I know expats all happy, and Carl's not.
I guess you could be totally not lazy and learn Japanese.
Yeah,
there you go, Burley. Yeah. Gambare. Gambare.
But
gambare means do your best. So anyway,
they do have some good mechanics that I do like. Of you're constantly, as you're exploring, you'll find these cube things and cube fragments for each of the different characters, and what you can do for your special moves that you see, the skills that you're learning and relearning, you can put the cubes in and it'll increase the power and give some of the moves secondary effects. So that way, if there are certain moves you like I use the one for Luffy Gum Gum Gatling, where it'll hit multiple enemies at once. I boosted that up because I like trying to clear when I have Luffy just against a bunch of enemies. I want to be able to one-shot clear them, so that way I get little bonuses. Because you get bonuses at the end of battle for, like, if you beat the battle without taking damage, you get a big XP boost and stuff like that. So it is nice for stuff like that to just give you little bonuses to incentivize you how you play the battles. I've also been playing Fire Emblem Engage.
cool.
I'm not as far in that as I'd like to be. I'm only chapter 5, but I'm really enjoying it. It's nice. It's different than Three Houses. I know Carl's not liking hearing me say that.
Well, it's just a fact. Better. I would probably be unhappy if I heard that. No, I don't know.
I'm not gonna say if it's better or not than Three Houses, because I finished Three Houses. I haven't finished Engage, but I do like that at the end of every, like when you start, after you've finish battles or start in the chapter. You're not in the whole Persona 5 thing where you've got to you have to talk to people, you've got to do the teaching lessons and all this and that. It's more if you want to make it more streamlined, you can make it more streamlined. If you don't, you there's a lot of chatting and there's a lot of bonding moment stuff too you can do.
Can you like free walk around any area?
Not any area, but like when you get to
No, I don't
certain
mean
chapters,
any. Like, is there an area?
yeah, you do have like a little base once you progress far enough in, and you will get like at the end of after you've done the battles, the chapters battles. At the end, you'll be in your base area. You can talk with the different people in your party and your roster, and you can chat. You can find items and giving them the items and stuff, and get the relationship values up with them. In the moment,
So it's like a base camp. Is it large? Is it like a decent size? How does it compare to like the Garreg Mach?
it is a decent size. It is nowhere near as big as the other one, where that thing was massive with all the different areas, and you had the warps. But this game runs way better than Three Houses. Much quicker to load in and get in and play. And graphically, it looks. I haven't tried it docked, mind you. I've only been playing it on the go, on Switch, but it looks so pretty on the Switch.
Yeah, I've heard people say that technically it's like a really pretty game for the Switch, which is great. We need that.
How about you, Carl? What did you play?
Well, they put out a trial for Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I heard you
Oh.
mention that on Twitter. Yeah.
I did because I wanted to try that, and I was like, "That's cool." You know, it's funny though. I had to point out the fact that the trial is just available for anyone on Xbox, but if you're on PlayStation, you gotta be a PS Plus Premium subscriber
Wow.
to get this trial.
Wow. That doesn't make any sense.
Which, yeah, I mean, is Sony saying like to them, yeah, you're not allowed to anyone, you're not allowed to put any free trials on our console anymore unless you put it through our premium program? Because that's messed up.
Sony doesn't like the word free anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demos, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess if you call it a demo, that's a workaround, but it's a free trial. I was surprised when when I read that, because like it's literally a 3-hour trial. Like you boot it up and it says you have 3 hours to play this game. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I really enjoy it so far. I think the combat is a little different than what I maybe expected. You can freely move your units around this map, but like not completely. Like it's not like most of the turn-based strategy type games where it's like you have a move and you have an attack per character. You have like an overall amount of cards you can play per turn, and the cards are random, which is weird, like, and annoying, because it is kind of like like a Magic the Gathering, like sort of trading card thing happening. But but the cards are specific attacks for specific whatever characters you have on your team. I do wonder if it is possible to draw no cards for one of your characters, and that character just like isn't doing anything that turn. But maybe there's other things later that gets introduced. Because I know there's like a free action for like environmental attacks, which is pretty cool. So like you can pick up a rock, like throw it at someone, or pick up a couch and kick it or something into a line of enemies, which is pretty cool. There's cool like things like that, like knockback effects. So like Doctor Strange has this like Winds of Batum attack, right, which does this tornado thing that hits a guy, and then when you choose the attack, you can then choose the arc of like where it's going to push that guy, so you can aim that to hit another enemy. So there's like a really cool strategy with that type of stuff in the game. Visually, like I think in combat it looks really cool. The animations are awesome. Outside of combat, I think the visuals are not that great for whatever reason. Like maybe just because you're more close up staring at these character models, which are like not really that detailed. They're fine, they're acceptable, but they're not anything special. And there does seem to be like visual bugs and glitches every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, those type of weird things where like the screen like fades to black, but then like it pops like something up on the screen like that's underneath that you see briefly. You know, like weird, like it's doing stuff in the background, like it's setting up the next scene, but like you see it briefly, and little you know, glitches like that, like doesn't seem 100% as polished as other stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm still playing.
Yeah,
which is extremely polished, and there's pretty much
really
not I've not encountered any sort of graphical glitch or bug or anything weird in that game.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've been putting more time into that, and I've been getting better at it. At first I was like, I'm terrible at like this whole rhythm thing, but it's more I guess like I'm not terrible because I'm just out of practice. I mean, I used to play like Rock Band. I used to be good at the drums and the guitar.
There you go.
I guess I can do that stuff. You know, it's just kind of, it's like the last time I played it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like getting into it. I'm like, oh, I'm doing good now. I feel like I'm actually kicking some ass, and like I feel good, feel a lot better about the combat system because I'm doing it in a more fluid manner.
Yeah, it's just the, you know, getting back into it again, you know, getting into that rhythm and stuff, just like with Rock Band and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to be on rhythm for regular attacking, regular combat stuff. Although there is like sort of these counter moments, right, where there'll be like a specific timed rhythm that you have to hit.
Yeah.
And those were like, oh man, I haven't done this type of stuff in a long time. And I'm like getting a little fight, but like eventually you get it, and it's not too bad. They're not like incredibly challenging.
Yeah.
Although there's a boss battle that I got to that is specifically just the type of things.
Mm-hmm. I think Carl's breaking up. Carl's breaking up there. So yeah. Yeah.
I guess his ISP lost the rhythm.
Yeah. The ISP must have lost the rhythm there. Yeah. So yeah, he'll be getting. And we just want to let all of you viewers and listeners know that of course Carl and Burley, they're in the East Coast. So there's like a huge like weather system where it's getting very, very, very cold out there. So maybe it could be affecting the internet service. So I'm sure he'll be back with us here in a minute. But until Carl gets back, Burley, why don't you let all of our viewers that are here on the Arena Productions know about what's going on, since we're doing the shows live now, what they can expect for the chat. Of course, the chat is for subscribers only, but let everybody know what we're doing now.
Yeah, certainly. So as Expat said, we're doing these lives, as you can no doubt tell. If you do say something in the chat, you know, like hi, hello, and all that, you may need to wait a little while depending where we are in stories and stuff like that before we get to you. If it is a question on a topic that we're currently talking about, we're going to get to that a little bit quicker. But if you do super chat, I am eyeing the chat a lot. So if you do a super chat, first of all, thank you, because that does support us. We'll get to that much quicker because you put up some money for that. So.
Yeah, and all of that helps and supports our content here on the Arena Productions. So, all right, Carl, go ahead, man. You were saying before your ISP conked out there for a second.
I didn't lose internet. Okay, it is Restream. You guys got to figure out your issues because I had internet the whole time.
Okay.
I don't know where I left off. You know,
you were talking about Hi-Fi Rush, and the rhythmic beats and how it it kind of compares in a way, how you use of course the attacks with the rhythmic type of beat, kind of like as you would play Rock Band or something like that. So we were talking about that.
Okay.
And how,
because they had. I was talking about there was like a boss battle, right? Did I get that part where you have like?
Yeah, you were just getting to the boss fight,
right,
and then it started.
Yeah, there's like a defined like sort of rhythmic parry system that you have to do in that boss battle, which can be more difficult if you're not good at the rhythm stuff. But it's a cool boss battle, and it's worth it. I mean, it's the game is really awesome, and the characters are cool. They're fun. They're colorful. The writing is fun. It's not taking things too seriously.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, okay, this is something I talk about, I personally, about when it comes to any story, right? Whether in like a game or even a movie.
Mhm.
Keep it simple if you don't have some like incredible, great idea, right? And that's what this game is doing. Like it's a simple story. It's not trying to do anything wild that you haven't seen or anything. So like it manages to just like not try to do anything, you know, out there taking you know, this big leap or being pretentious, right? Right. It's just like, yeah, let's do something, you know, fun that you know isn't gonna be like award winning, you know, whatever, because that wasn't, you know, you try to go for that, you often fail. So like, you know, sometimes just make a fun game and give a nice simple story and make your characters colorful. That's really what you got to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Tango Gameworks. I mean, you know, Mikami-san, you know, Shinji Mikami runs the studio, and he's more known for the horror genre, of course, The Evil Within and all. And so this game it breaks off a lot from that type of genre. I mean, this is a very, very different style game. And the creative director in this game, I mean, he was given all the free reign to work on developing this and making it such a fun game that it is. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Carl is conking out again. So I don't know. Maybe it isn't Restream. I don't know. So all right. We're gonna
still could be Restream.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign him out. Hopefully he'll come back in here. So yeah, Burley, you got to play Hi-Fi Rush. It's a fun game, man. It really is.
From what I've seen, it's something I want to play. It's just a matter of I haven't had the time, and I'm into a bunch of games right now. So it's like I will get to it eventually.
Yeah,
came in for 2 seconds and then.
Yeah, I tried to get him back in, but his it's like his internet connection is either that or maybe on his end with Restream. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think he's going to come back in here in just a second. And there he is. Okay, there he is again. Hello, Carl, again for episode 595. I'm just kidding. Yes. All right, let's get
10 years.
Yeah, maybe it could be like 10 years, but by the time we get to episode 595 or whatever it is. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the first story. E3. We thought it was going to come back, that we were going to have all like Nintendo and Sony and Xbox on the showroom floor, but obviously it's not going to work out that way. So here is the link to the article from IGN, and I'm going to go ahead and play a cool little compilation clip of E3 memories here, so you can kind of look at that. But I'm going to read a little bit of this here. So E3's first physical event in 4 years was supposed to be a triumphant return for the trade show, an opportunity to recapture some of the excitement of past conventions, which historically have been major showcase events for the game industry. However, it appears that when E3 2023 hits the LA Convention Center in June, it will be without three of its most important draws. So, it looks like Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo won't be a part of E3 2023 or have a presence on the LA Convention Center show floor. So, speaking with IGN last week, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer said the platform holder is timing its showcase with E3 at a moment, quote, convenient for press and even consumers at the event, meaning it's likely to roughly align with the event itself. Spencer also stressed Xbox's public support for E3 and the Entertainment Software Association, ESA. However, from IGN, they've understood that Xbox won't have a booth on the showroom floor, and it looks like Sony and Nintendo are going to be in the same boat. And then obviously we have ReedPop, which is in charge of the show, and ReedPop has also been in charge of the Star Wars Experience, the shows, as well as the PAX events. So, I mean, is this an ESA thing, or is this something like some kind of conflict with Reed Pop? I don't know. But obviously Xbox is probably going to do something, maybe some type of like a kind of like a, one of those digital type of events again, kind of like how Jeff Keighley does the opening night live. So I mean, what do you guys think of all of this, and what does this say about E3 now? So Carl, I'll start with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because what is E3 without all of those three people? All the big three.
Yeah.
But I guess they haven't been part of it for a while now. Sony and Nintendo haven't, they skipped out a while ago. And Microsoft, from what I understand, and I was a little like, this article seems I was confused because I'm pretty sure Microsoft is probably still doing the same thing they always do, which is, they have their own, or what is it? Some sort of like a Xbox, what was it? Arena or whatever it is. I don't know the name of the place. Like there's the LA Convention Center, but Xbox has another. Microsoft has a thing nearby.
Yeah, that's
always been like adjacent to and part of associated with E3.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Spencer has said, given support for it, and he has said that they're doing something in the summer. So I'm pretty sure that that's probably going to be what we always get from Microsoft, even though they're not on the show floor, which I think they haven't been for a while anyway.
Yeah.
As for who's going to be there, I mean, I don't know what do I expect to be like if I was going to go to the show. What do I expect to see there? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to find out who they announce is going to be there.
From the article, it says Reed Pop has been, distributing contracts to other like third-party development studios and companies, and still haven't heard yet from a lot we shall see.
Tencent and Embracer
EA.
EA, Ubisoft maybe, but like I don't even know if they want to do that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Burley, your thoughts on all of this?
This isn't surprising. Like E3 has not been really you haven't needed E3 in years, because like if you want to do your own event, not pay all this money and showcase to get to everyone, you can just say on Twitter, on all the social medias, hey, for Sony, we're going to do a state of play, whatever date. And people will watch. You'll get all the media companies that will cover it whenever it happens. And it'll spread like wildfire on social media. Like Sony's been out for years. Nintendo's been half in, half out for the last couple of years. Microsoft, probably of the big three, is the only one that's really been there for the last couple of years fully. And I bet Microsoft's looking like, why are we spending all this money? We're the only ones really going fully when we could just do our own thing, save a lot of money, and better, easier market to everyone.
Yeah. I just think it's before you go on, Burley, I was just gonna say that I think COVID had a lot to do with this, and the fact that the big three, they just decided in a sense to not spend so much money. I mean, Sony was having problems with the ESA, obviously, and that was one of the reasons why they decided to bail and not go to E3 since like 2019, right? But I mean, after COVID and everything, it's like they just decided with all these digital events that they've been doing, it's like they can just save a lot of money instead of having to have booths on the showroom floor. But I'm telling you now, probably Gamescom, the big three are probably going to be at Gamescom. Tokyo Game Show, Nintendo and Sony will be at Gamescom, and Xbox will probably be there too because they want to have a stronger presence out here in Japan, where I am.
Yeah, but what happened last year? Like Gamescom, I think Microsoft actually had a thing at Gamescom.
They were like the only ones. Yeah.
Tokyo Game Show, I don't know who had a booth at all there. I don't think any of the big three did.
No, just a bunch of third-party development studios and a lot of mobile like they usually have. Yeah.
So we'll see if any of these companies really want to be part of these live, type booth events in the future.
Yeah.
I do think Microsoft, I'm hoping they do, a live, showcase thing this summer. I don't know if E3 is even going to have a showcase this year. We don't even know that.
Well, Keeley's event's probably going to be the big event now.
He's going to have his thing, yeah. Which he's doing some sort of live event also.
Yeah. Whether or not Phil Spencer and Microsoft has like you were saying in the adjacent building, in the Microsoft Theater or whatever, if they do something, kind of aside from the E3, convention, who knows? We don't know yet. But
yeah, I still expect that to be mostly the same. You can tie yourself to E3 and like they can, they were always the weekend right before it, right? Like the Sunday or something.
Yeah.
The day before E3 actually started, like the event. So
right.
It's not particularly that different. But yeah, it's gonna be a weird, different thing. That's for sure.
Yeah. All these, as we can see here, for all of you video viewers. Yeah. I mean, just the people coming to these events, the cosplayers, and all of that, and I mean, we're probably still going to get a lot of that, but I mean, when it comes to the actual presentations, which E3 was all about. I mean, that's what the press and the media were all there for, was the presentations, to see all of the new games, the big games that are coming, the new release, windows, and, the new reveals of particular games. That's not going to be there now. So,
yeah, I guess it's really going to depend on what is in the event. What can you do there? What can you see? What other people are there? They're going to have, I'm sure, the side things, right? Where they have the halls where you have the what do you call it? Like not meetings, lectures, or whatever. I forget what they even call them. The terminology.
Yeah, but, well, certain presentations about particular games, like some of the media would go into a back room and they would be able to see like a demo, and you'd have
event, like, because I went to New York Comic Con a couple times, and that's like the secondary, right? Because the main one is San Diego.
Yeah, that's
so like the New York Comic Con has less stuff, but they had like these things where like I saw they had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 there the year I went, right before it was out, and you could play. And they had the creator, it was Yoshinori Ono, I believe.
Ono-san, yeah.
Yeah, and he was there, and he did this like he was you could go into like this room where they were doing a presentation, and it was like limited amount of seating, that's it. So who knows what kind of things they'll have. We'll have to see. If people come out of it and say, yeah, it was a great time going, then maybe it'll be something that sticks around and people will go to in a different light.
I just can't.
Go ahead, Burley. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can't see people with now Microsoft out. There's less and less draw for people that want to go to this. And like, if the big three aren't there, and it let's just say it's like EA, Ubisoft, and some of these other developers and other companies, that's all you're getting. You're going to be like, for someone like me, it's like, what of these companies do I really want to care and see? Do I want to spend all this money to pay the high ticket to get in, my travel costs, the hotel costs that are going to be absorbently high around that time, just to go to do this? I think this is going to be a huge drop off in numbers this year of people physically attending. Like I know they did last year, they had the whole, you could buy the digital passes, the different digital passes, get the different digital tiers. And I don't think we heard the sales numbers on those. I imagine they weren't too high.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, let's just wait and see what developers are actually going to be there and what they're going to show. I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. But I mean, I agree with you, Burley, that the numbers are probably going to be down again. And I mean, with Microsoft now probably doing more of these developer directs, Nintendo obviously doing their Nintendo directs, Sony doing their state of plays, I just don't see them doing ever again
in Los Angeles, a big, huge event, which they have to spend a ton of money on. Yeah, I mean, they're content with doing things digitally now and pre-recording stuff. So, and like Carl was mentioning, about the Jeff Keighley thing, and of course it being live is, I still think that we're probably going to get some shows right around the time that the convention starts, but they will be pre-recorded. So we'll see. All right, next up, we're going to talk about Jedi Survivor. So yeah, obviously, Carl, Burley, and I, we are survivors here on the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast. We survived the first game.
We survived
Jedi
Order
Fallen
66.
Order. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Fallen
there's,
Order.
Every other day there's a new Jedi popping up that survived Order 66.
Yeah. I mean, you got to watch my video on the Bad Batch from this past week here on the Arena Productions. Yeah, you'll find out there was another one. Yeah. So Respawn is delaying Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So it's not coming out in March. It's coming out in April. So I'm going to read a little bit of this for you from Polygon.com. So, yeah. So Respawn came out with a comment. So game director Stig Asmussen and the Star Wars Jedi team says, quote, "We are now focused entirely on the final stage. Bug fixes to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience," end quote. The developer added, quote, "In order for the team to hit the Respawn quality bar, provide the team the time they need, and achieve the level of polish our fans deserve, we have added 6 crucial weeks to our release schedule," end quote. Cal Kestis' next journey in the Star Wars galaxy is set 5 years after the events of Fallen Order, with our heroes still being pursued by the Empire as one of the last remaining Jedi. Jedi Survivor will, quote, "expand on the series' dynamic combat in new and innovative ways," end quote, giving Kestis new force abilities and new lightsaber stances designed to keep the action fresh. So I don't mind waiting until April for this game, April 28th. I mean, this will probably be the next game that I play day one. So, I mean, this probably, and we're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy later on in the show, but I mean, this probably gives a lot more breathing room for a lot of players that are going to be playing Hogwarts Legacy that want to platinum that game. So it gives them plenty of time. It gives them a couple of months before they jump into Jedi Fallen Order. So I'm going to start with you on this one, Burley. What do you think of this delay?
I think it's good. It gives me a lot more hope for this game because you know what? They're realizing, hey, we need more time. We want to get this game come out right, come out well. Delay it. Like I saw a lot of people that were upset with this, and it's like, don't be upset with when they take the time and they say, hey, we need to delay this to get this game right. I'm always happy for this and championing it because I want this game to come out well. I want this when I come out day one, if I buy, because I'm most likely going to buy this day one and just be really, I want to buy it day one, play it, and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if they're going to take more time and take things seriously, yeah. And you know what? You come out April, there's less in April. That's your competition. Fine. Do whatever works best for you. Just make sure the game comes out in a good state. That's all I ask.
Carl, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get less bugs. So as we keep saying, like every time there's a delay, like it's the right thing to do. Always, you gotta make sure that you don't have a Cyberpunk, again.
Yeah,
that was devastating, in a lot of ways. Even though the game sold well, but like this game, the first game, I don't remember, but I know people keep saying there was a lot of bugs when the first game came out. I don't know if you guys played it early on day one.
I didn't play it day one. I got
neither did I.
Holiday because
I played it like a month after it came out. So
yeah, because I hear people say that when they talk about this, and they're like, "Yeah, that's great that they're delaying because you don't want to have the bugs that the game had at launch." But I didn't play it at launch only because like I did buy it at launch, but I was still playing Outer Worlds, which had come out the month before. So I was finishing that up, and by the time I finished that up, there were patches I remember that came out, and when I played it, played great. So I didn't have any real trouble with it. No, there were a few bugs here and there, but it wasn't like anything major. So it's fine. It's not that long of a delay.
Yeah, and as you can see here in the video clips, some of the different combat techniques and lightsaber techniques here that you're going to be able to use in Jedi, Jedi Survivor. So good stuff.
Give us missions as BD.
I mean, that would be kind of neat, actually. A lot of games do that.
Yeah.
We play as like a side character.
Ooh.
Plus BD's awesome. So
He
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah. Was this droid I don't think these droids were in the first game, were they? These battle
I
droids.
don't think they
I don't
were.
think they were. Yeah, so I think they're new to to this one. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Cut off the limbs.
I'm assuming that's finishing it off because I don't know how much it's going to be
Yeah.
fighting with that leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the game looks great.
Yeah. Good stuff.
There's the Han Solo of this game now.
Maybe.
because we have
Sure.
to have a Han Solo. We have to have.
Yeah. You're gonna get to play as that guy. Watch, no BD. You're gonna get to play as this dude, whoever he is.
Yeah. Well, it
Free
doesn't
play.
seem
Ken, then
it doesn't
Get a
seem
little-
like he has a lightsaber. So yeah,
He's got
probably
guns.
gonna-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Got a little-
guns.
Got a little shooty going on, huh?
Yeah.
It'll be like gun fu, man.
It kind of looks like a Pokemon character there, Burley. There.
a little bit, yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe because EA's behind this, and it is in the Star Wars universe, you're going to have to go to some casinos gambling to get some intel. So you're going to have to do
Maybe.
gambling to get across story.
Maybe. Yeah. Good stuff.
I love that the crossguard lightsaber in this one actually makes more sense. That it has like the metal to protect you from the actual lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they thought about it. Kylo Ren's was just broken. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So next up, the PS5 Plus, PS Plus collection, PlayStation 5 PS Plus collection, being removed in May. So here's a link to the article here, and of course, yes, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you and read a little bit of it for you. So Sony announced that the PlayStation Plus collection will be removed from the PlayStation Plus subscription on May 9th. However, members can still redeem the titles from the collection until that date and continue to access them afterward as long as they remain subscribers to the service. So the games from PlayStation Worldwide Studios, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Infamous, Second Son, Ratchet and Clank, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered Until Dawn, and Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and third-party games, Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Zombies Chronicle Edition, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. And of course, Persona 5 was removed back in May of 2022. So, Carl, I'll start with you first on this one. What do you think of PlayStation removing the PlayStation Plus collection?
Oh, it's a big tragedy, I mean, I knew this would happen one day. I'm sure I'd said it at some point before, maybe on the show, that like, knowing the way Sony does things, like this collection was designed to get people to jump into PS5 like right away, because you only got it if you had PS Plus on PS5. You didn't get it if you had PS Plus on PS4. So it was sort of a marketing sort of bonus for jumping in early to PS5. But there was the implication that maybe they would add stuff to it, and they never did. So this collection, going away was something that you saw the writing on the wall, especially when Persona dropped off a bit. Then you're like, oh, well, if that game can go off, then pretty much every third-party game would probably eventually drop off. But now the first-party games is the question. Is like, well, why aren't, I don't know. I don't think maybe a couple of them might be on PS Plus Extra or something, but like they all are. I'm pretty sure they all aren't, and they all should be at this point. Like I sort of understand it if they were saying, all right, well, it was a bonus and we're going to put it on PS Plus Extra. But to just get rid of it, and now anybody who buys a PS5 now doesn't get anything. Well, after that date,
Yeah.
you just can't. You won't get that unless you whatever might be available on PS Plus Extra at the time. It sucks, It was a great collection, and
yeah. Burley, your thoughts?
Yeah, not surprised this is going away. Like Carl said, he said it God knows how long ago, and we've all been thinking it. Like when Persona 5 did leave, it was like, yep, this just started the clock of when does this end? It sucks to see this leave. Like I got my PS5, mine's a launch PS5, and it's like, yeah, I'm not surprised. It was a nice bonus. Like there were a couple games in there, like Days Gone, Resident Evil 7, and stuff like that I didn't own. It was a nice little, hey, these are extra games I got in with my PS5. Just some extra games that I hadn't played, and it was nice to get them. I could see some of these, like I know some of these, the first party, like Ratchet and Clank, I believe is on the PS Plus. But I know God of War 2018 is.
Yeah.
But like Days Gone, I can't remember if it's on the service or not. Hopefully some of these games make it onto the service at least for extra premium.
Yeah.
To at least those that are subscribed at those higher tiers, you do get those titles to make it at least a little bit more worth it. But it sucks to see this go because was such a nice move on them. Even if you just had essentials. You got Astrobot on the PS5 installed already on your drive.
Yeah.
Now, but here's 20 other games. Well, now 19. Here's 19 other games just to help tide you over. So whether you either had a PS4 or didn't, you have a good little library to get you started. And it was good selection. Like, I'll play God of War 2018. Wow, I'm liking this. Oh, there's a sequel called Ragnarok. Oh, I'll go buy that right now because I just played 2018 and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like you're going to lose on little sales like that. Like I get for third party, you don't want to keep paying for the third party, but for all the first party stuff, just you could keep the first party up on there and just be like, here's the PS Plus first party collection and keep that. But Sony doesn't want to do that. They just want to get you in on extra premium.
Right.
Like they've been bad with their mark.
They want to sell Last of Us Part 1,
Yeah.
If you get it for free, because you got I think the remaster, right? That's supposed remaster.
Yeah, the PS4 remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they've been bad with this just to try and get you. They're doing things just to get you into this their paid service, but haven't been doing well with the paid service of stuff they promised and the marketing on it as well. So it's just like overall it's just a bad move, I feel. But how much it's really going to affect them, because a lot of people will just be like, oh well, they let it go on for 2.5 close to 3 years. It is what it is.
I think actually a lot of people forgot about it. So, because they don't talk about it, and maybe they, don't talk about it because they knew they would get rid of it one day. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of PlayStation VR 2 is right around the corner, and I think it seems like Sony and PlayStation kind of miscalculated on the amount of pre-orders that they thought they were going to get on this thing. Obviously, they were a little wrong. So here is the link to the article from Tech Radar. Low PSVR 2 pre-orders confirm that Sony is out of touch. I don't know if they're out of touch, but maybe they miscalculated a bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of this article for you as I get the video clip going for all you video viewers. So Pre-launch statistics for PSVR 2 haven't quite met Sony's expectations, which, as Bloomberg had reported, initially set at a lofty 2 million units available worldwide throughout its launch quarter. Sony was clearly betting big on its latest VR peripheral then. Now, though, according to an as of yet unnamed supply partner, Sony has set a more realistic expectation of shipping 1.5 million units throughout the upcoming financial year of April 2023 to March 2024. So for context, Sony's sold roughly 30 million PS5 consoles. That's hard to believe. 30 million already with all the chip shortages and everything as of December of last year, suggesting Sony expected 1 in 15 PS5 owners to purchase the VR headset. So their expectations were out there. So maybe, yeah, in a sense they were out of touch, because when you sell a peripheral that's more expensive than the console itself, I don't think you're going to get many people to pre-order or let alone buy this thing when it comes out. Like we said before on the show, this is a niche market. You know, all the big techies and all the, you know, the media, they're going to be, you know, getting these things and playing with them. But yeah, I mean, just the average Joe, you know, the average gamer out there that doesn't have much money to spend, there's no way that they're going to be buying this. And especially they probably already got the original PSVR, and they're probably kind of upset because they can't have backwards compatibility with those games. So anyway, Burley, I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this was I don't know where they thought 1 in every like 15 PS5 users are going to want this. They shot themselves in the foot early on. The pricing did not help them, but they're like, yeah, no backwards compatibility with PSVR 1 games. And it's like they had been giving away over the last year, they gave away 10 to 15 VR games. So it was like, oh, well, that makes it stupid for me. Why am I going to spend, because just to get the one bundle with Horizon and like the charger, it is like 800 and something before tax, before the 13% tax. So it's like, yeah, no, you're not getting my money. Like you got to be giving me a lot of stuff. Like give me 2 to 3 years of PS Plus Premium to try and help get me to want to even consider buying this thing. Like they did so much craziness with this, and it's VR. Not everyone has the room for VR in your setup. And it's like I look at my apartment with the way, because my living room is half a living room, half an office. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't have the room that I really want to try and set up VR, go through a nightmare of freaking cables and getting all that and setting it up, putting it away, setting it up, putting it away every time I want to play the dang thing. And it's like they made so many wrong moves with this. It was like I don't get this. And then to claim, oh, we're expecting 1 in every 15 PS5 owners to buy this. So like, you guys are what are you guys smoking? Like, what are you guys on? Like, whatever thing that makes you that delusional, please tell the world, because maybe the regular people need some of us regular folk need that.
I don't know. Carl, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know why they would think it would sell so well.
Carl, you're breaking up. Carl's breaking up again, Burley. So I think, it's the, yeah.
It's Jim Ryan. He doesn't like him talking.
Yeah, Jim Ryan. VR. Jim Ryan is probably watching and listening, and he's probably breaking in and making sure that Carl doesn't talk. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's I think the first mistake they made was not making the original PSVR games, the majority of them, backwards compatible, so that you could play those games on the PSVR 2. I mean, and the launch lineup for the launch lineup for PSVR 2 is not really that stellar. Yeah, of course you have Call of the Mountain, but I don't know. What
Well,
what,
like
what are your
most
other
of-
thoughts on this? Yeah.
Well, it's like a good chunk of the other VR games are just other VR games that are ported on
Mhm.
that are on other stuff. So it's just a port job, and it's like Moss 1 and 2. Oh, that's
Right.
just a reported from PSVR 1 to PSVR 2. And it's like
Mhm.
it's not like they're doing a thing of, hey, you own these on PS1 VR. We'll give you them free on PSVR 2 just to get you in the ecosystem. They're not doing that. It's no, we want our $40 or whatever they're charging for it.
Go ahead, Carl. What were you going to talk about before before Jim Ryan
just-
cut you off?
Yeah, right. PSVR 1 didn't sell all that well, and they had to drop the price very significantly to get people into that platform.
Mhm.
And VR, but see, the thing is, VR in general isn't like growing wildly, right? It's sort of plateaued, and it's in this secondary space of, you know, gaming, right? And
Mhm.
I think there's an amount of success there, but there doesn't seem to be significant growth in that market.
No.
So for Sony to jump into this market to keep going into this market was kind of like a bad idea to begin with.
Yeah.
Because and they should have looked at and known, but based on what happened with PSVR 1, that it probably wasn't going to be successful. But I don't know. I feel like maybe they thought that, you know, we'll give it another go. Like we'll try. You know, people, there are fans of it. You know,
Yeah.
they have the money, they can do this,
Mhm.
and they give it a shot. But like they probably should have, you know, tempered their expectations.
Yeah.
And pricing is, you know, all these conditions that Burley talked about are the issue why there's very little interest at all. But I think
Yeah.
even if you got all of that right, I still think your interest wouldn't be like amazing. You know, if you had it, you know, PSVR 1 backwards compatibility, okay, but like not a lot of people loved that experience. There were some,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, like when you're alienating the audience that you had by not giving them backwards compatibility, right?
Yeah.
And the support for PSVR 1 was pretty lacking anyway in first party games.
Mhm.
You know, those people, there are, I'm sure, a lot of people who enjoyed PSVR 1 who are like, I'm just going to skip 2 because I saw what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It will never become the type of market that the console market is until the pricing significantly comes down on these things. You know, I could see sales being much better if this thing were like $250. And obviously they're, because of the parts and, you know, the amount that they have to pay to, you know, to produce these things. Of course, obviously they're not going to sell it for $250, but if they took a loss and did it, they would probably sell a hell of a lot more of them.
Well, the thing is also, even if you got it down to 250, you have so much competition at that level because you got like the Meta that's like 300 US,
The
Meta
Oculus,
Quest 2.
yeah.
You have so much competition, and let's face it, with what little exclusives you're going to get from PlayStation, the
Yeah.
4 or 5 exclusives that Sony makes and its first party studios make or have other developers make on PSVR 2,
Yeah.
you're like, how much of them are you really something you're really going to want and draw
Right.
you? Where if you go to any of the other platforms, you get all the same VR titles.
Yeah.
And you've got it, like, because I know someone that's got the Quest 2, and they're like, yeah, I've got tons of titles. Like, they bought it with the holiday bundle they had, where you got Resident Evil 4 VR and Beat Saber. So you got
Yeah.
one of the most popular VR games, and then one of the greatest third party action or third person, sorry, not third party, action games, and that would be kind of cool to do in VR.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to be able to sell this to like a mass market because VR itself isn't very casual of a thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, sometimes it's just a setup, right? There's, you got all that is a barrier for some people based on space, right? Availability. But the kind of ask, right, of people to like, all right, you got to put this helmet on, you got to take yourself out of the world, you got to move your arms around, you got to stand up, you got to,
Yeah.
do all these weird things. And like a lot of people are like, I don't really want to do that. Or it's more of a theme park thing, right? Like, or an arcade. You go and you do that and you're like, that was fun, but like, I'm not going to do that every day at home,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, you understand why they don't sell it as a loss leader price, because that market really isn't there. It is an enthusiast device. Like,
Right.
I could say the price makes sense at that point, but you're trying to mix this market of like console that typically sells as a loss leader because they know that they can get sort of a mass market people to jump in and play those, 1 or 2 games a year. But like, there's very few people who are going to buy PS5 and a PSVR 2 for over $1,000 just to jump in and play 1 or 2 games.
Right. Yeah, and over the life cycle of this thing, I mean, how many games would you actually play? Probably less than 10. Probably 3 or 4, and then it goes in the box, and then it's collecting dust like the first PSVR did. So
it's going to end up in, well, there's not a lot of them, so maybe you won't see them, but when I go to thrift stores,
it's gonna end up in one of Burley's steelbook cases.
Yeah. No, it's like when I go to thrift stores, I just got a picture of it too, but there's a thrift store I went to here the other day.
Uh-huh.
They have 4 Wii Fit balance boards just sitting there. 4 of them. And it's not the first time I've seen multiple Wii Fit balance boards at thrift stores. So like those sold a lot. So like I understand, but like PSVR 1 is going to end up like, you're gonna see it in thrift stores. Like people just get rid of them, those things.
Oh, I've seen those in thrift stores, and back when Best Buy here in Canada used to do trade-ins, where you could trade in games and equipment.
Right.
They had I remember the one. It always had this used PSVR set, and they were trying to get rid of it, and because they had taken the trade-in value, and they still had it up at a higher cost because they were trying to get rid of it. Because they took in the trade-in money. And it was funny, at one point the used unit was more money than the brand new bundle that I could buy that would give me I think it was Iron Man VR. And I'm just like, one sales associate is like, walks by, he's like, yes, I know. He says they're dumb. I'm like, yep.
I do wonder if they can maybe flip the switch at some point and make this thing work on PC. I'm sure it's definitely, they can do it, right? It's just a question, will they do it? Because then you can have PC enthusiasts buy this headset and use it for Steam, whatever, because there's a bigger library there, and the hardware itself is actually supposedly very good.
It'll be interesting to see how soon there will be a price reduction. Yeah. Out here in Japan, I'm really interested to see how long it'll take before there's a price drop on this thing. Probably definitely by the holiday season, it will drop.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do price drops as more because they don't want to sell this thing as a loss leader, as Carl says. They're just going to throw other little cheap games in the bundles besides Call of the Mountain just to get you in and be like, here you go. You get 4 games.
Yeah.
And they're all short 1-hour experiences just to get you in. So
I just can't wait till launch day. I'm going to go to Yodobashi. I'm going to see how many people actually buy this thing. I mean, I'm just so excited to see, how many of those things are still sitting on the shelves, with that big price tag on it.
Oh, in the article that you had, I don't think you had the thing where it was Bloomberg that someone said that they cut their projection in half of what they thought they would sell Sony. But then there was a statement that they got from Sony where they were sort of denying it. But what they said in the statement was that we didn't cut production. So like that's different, right? Like that was the thing that was like people were pointing out, like we didn't say you cut production. We said you cut your internal prediction for sales.
Right.
So like there could be a situation, if this is all true, right? That like they produced a lot more and that they thought they would sell a good amount of that, and now they're like, oh damn, we don't think based on the pre-orders, right? We don't think we're
Yeah.
going to sell.
We're
that
not going to
many.
sell that many.
So you could see a price reduction pretty soon if they're sitting on a lot of stock that's
Yeah.
not going.
Yeah, because if those 2 million were produced and they're like bringing that, forecast down to 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 1.5 is way too generous that this
Oh, yeah.
think this is going to sell. Like I expect like first week, and this is me going with the highest number I think they'll sell. I think they'll sell like 5,000 at most, because it's such a high cost. VR is in a weird state with all the other factors. It's like, yeah, no.
You heard that out there, everybody. Burley says 5,000 at the most.
5K.
Yeah, 5K. Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it, man. All right, let's get to the topic of the show, guys. Carl, Xbox is making, strides in, changing the series consoles for an eco-friendly, type of, when it comes to how the console runs, right? They've been making some strides recently with that, right?
They recently got in the news,
right.
because Fox News is a joke, and they don't understand what's going on. But they changed the default setting on the system to be the full shutdown.
Full shutdown mode, right.
Yeah, which saves power because it's not running
more eco-friendly.
Yeah, right. It's not doing the standby mode, which is using more power.
Yeah.
And now that's the standard. But the thing is, like, they've actually increased the boot speed of the Xbox on full shutdown. So while yes, it's still not as fast booting up if you have it in standby, it's still very, very fast.
Yeah.
So it is a good option. I haven't turned it on yet myself, but I actually have been considering it. And I recently went into the power system menu, and it tells you like the wattage that you're using, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I came across an article this week, and it's really interesting. The premise of the article is discussing climate change. And, can video games change people's minds about the climate crisis? It is from The Guardian. I'll go ahead and, for all of you video viewers, you can see the link here to The Guardian. And what's interesting is the article starts, it's talking about this one particular game developer. His name's Sam Alfred. And he's from Cape Town in South Africa. And they were talking about a huge drought that was going on there. And it was a really grim situation there. So he has a game studio called Free Lives, and he decided to create a game. It's called Terra Nil, which it's very, very opposite from like The Sims or like, Civilization, where in this game, you're actually, what's interesting about it is that you're attempting to kind of, the game starts out where you're in this really arid type of environment, and you have to change many aspects of the world around you to create an environmentally friendly environment. This article is interesting because, there's a lot of games out there now where you see, for example, the effects of climate change. I mean, of course, you see in, Kojima's games, of course, Death Stranding, you see like a barren land. Even in Horizon Zero Dawn, which I'm going to be showing here, Forbidden West, I'm sorry, which I'm going to be showing here in a couple of minutes, you see, of course, the beautiful environment, but of course, there is within the game and the story, aspects of the world that is affecting the environment. And the article also goes on to talk about how, console makers like Sony, when it comes to Horizon Forbidden West, they have different initiatives that they started for like planting trees and all that, all those type of things. However, when it comes to Sony in particular, when it comes to the production and the actual hardware, the CO2 emissions that are emitted by these new consoles and particularly in the making of these big AAA games now, it's actually affecting the environment in negative ways. But there are a lot of developers out there that are wanting to help to explain to gamers and people out there that there is a crisis within the environment, and they want to be more educative about that. So using video games as tools of moral instruction, in a sense. So I'll throw it to you guys and get your thoughts on this article. What did you think of it? So can video games change people's minds and their perceptions about the climate crisis? So Carl, I'll start with you on this. What do you think?
You brought up Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Forbidden West. I'm sorry, that's what I was.
Well, no, you brought up Forbidden West, but Zero Dawn, if I remember correctly, wasn't that sort of the explanation? It's hard for me to remember. Like, wasn't that they were trying to build the robots to because of resources and climate change and things like that?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was something like that, right? I don't remember 100%. Like, I think they tried a little bit about that message in the game. I don't think it worked, to be honest, because you'd have to get to a specific point in the game to really get that story, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can really push or educate climate change and the crisis in video games all that well. I mean, it's an escapism, it's entertainment. Like, I understand like why people sort of push back against even social things in video games, because at the end of the day, like, you're just trying to have fun and enjoy yourself, and that's not really what you're there for. Not that you can't make games specifically about that type of message, and if you're upfront about it, and people might jump in specifically like, oh, this is a great game for me to learn about that or understand, or just a great game in general, and I know that it's going to have these type of things that's going to educate me in a certain way that could be useful. It's just a difficult thing to do. It would be great, and there's a lot of weird climate change stuff out there that you could base, I guess, ideas off of. Maybe that could work. Something very quickly I want to say, like, climate change, an issue that I didn't know about, but only know because I'm here now. Like, Lake Erie, isn't freezing over anywhere near as much as it used to, which is causing more lake effect snow in this area. Yeah, because it's able to draw moisture from the lake. When it's frozen, it can't do that. And it's a dramatic shift. I was looking at numbers, like they said last Monday, there was like less than 0.5% of the lake was covered in ice versus 87% the year before.
Wow.
Yeah, so like it varies, but there's been a records in recent years in 2020 as well of like a low percentage of overall average freezing of the lake. And these are issues. This is a specific local issue. It's hard to teach people these things because it's not relevant to you. So, like, can a video game focus on an idea like that and really get people to understand it, or get kids to understand it? Or as Fox News tried to say that that the Xbox has gone woke and it's trying to recruit young children into the climate change.
And they're using space lasers as well.
No, just because there's an option to save some energy by running in full shutdown, now you've been recruited into the climate change cabal or whatever they think. It's complete nonsense. I guarantee you there's not a single kid who's going to like boot up Xbox and see this mode and be like, oh, I should think about climate change. Like, not gonna be one person who's gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to mention there was one thing from the article, and I want to leave the link to the website. There is an organization, a United Nations project called Playing for the Planet, that has catalyzed efforts to promote the awareness of climate change, and it's a really cool thing. So it's called Playing for the Planet. You can go and check it out. There is a link there, playingfortheplanet.org. Yeah. So you can go and check that out. Burley, cool. There's Burley, there's Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
Really quick, I just want to mention the Last of Us TV show, not the game.
Yeah.
I don't think they talk about it like that in the game, but maybe they did relate climate change to the whole cordyceps virus, not virus, fungus, right?
Yeah.
And how they were implying, it's in the first episode. It's not really like a spoiler, you know, how the increase in overall temperature and the fungi adapting to it and able to survive in higher temperatures allows them to infect humans. So like that is, I mean, it's tangentially like video game related. It's in the show and not necessarily the game, but maybe, you know, like if it's popular enough, maybe it can help people be more aware.
Yeah, and Burley, I just before I get your thoughts on this, there was a part of the article that talks about a designer. Her name is Kara Stone, and she's an assistant professor at Alberta University, and she's working on a radical alternative when it comes to the decarbonization and all, building a solar-powered web server. And actually, she's I think out there in Alberta, actually in Calgary, in which she calls, quote, the oil capital of Canada. But this idea of a solar-powered web server that players would be able to stream her games from, I think that is an interesting alternative to what we have at the moment. So, what are your thoughts on this and the climate change issue when it comes to video games?
Well, I love the idea behind a solar powered server. Whether or not how well that's going to work in real life, who knows? Like, it's something I hope. I'd love to see how well it would see it go well and take off, but I just have a little doubts on it. But hopefully, it's something that does go well, takes off well. Yeah, the climate change in video games, for it to work, for it to get people aware, if people are wanting to learn more about it and the game does it in a well thought out manner, and you're there and you're wanting to learn in learn mode, I could see it working. But like as Carl said earlier, a lot of people just play games just to de-stress, have fun, and stuff like that. So they're not going to really think about it.
Right.
But I think it can work. It just depends on your messaging and the people that are playing the game. Because if you get the right people and they're playing and they're able to understand the message and it sinks into them and this is something they feel strongly about, it'll work. But you're going to get the some people that unfortunately don't believe climate change is real, be like, I don't care about this message, and just turn off the game or continue playing and be like, I don't care. I'm just playing here because I could, I don't know, shoot dinosaurs or whatever the game is.
Burley, of course, you played as well as myself. You played Horizon Forbidden West. Did you get the Reach the Daunt trophy?
I platinum the game, yes.
Okay, so obviously you got it then. So I mean, so this was a part of the Green Game Jam, that of course was from the organization, the link there that I gave, and obviously Sony had pledged to plant trees for every trophy earned by players. So obviously you were one of the people, of course, that helped to plant a tree. So I'm thinking that maybe in a lot of other video games in the future, there will be a lot of development studios that implement particular trophies or achievements that go out to more environmental awareness, hopefully.
Yeah, you'll get companies that'll do that. Hopefully it wouldn't be just for trophies. Do it for game amount of copies sold. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. If we sell 1 million copies of X game, we'll plant 1 million trees. Yeah, like instead, I it was a nice thing, Sony, but it's like, come on, don't make it locked behind. If players got this trophy, being like, well, Carl over there in Buffalo, he didn't get that trophy, so we don't have to plant that tree because of him. It's all Carl's fault, not my fault.
Yeah.
Like for every copy of
Yeah, go ahead. So, Carl, yeah, I don't know what it is with Restream today, guys. So, all of you video viewers, we obviously apologize for that. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I love this part, Burley, of Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah, I loved the parachute, aspect of the game and all. Yeah, and obviously,
yes.
of course, you see the
This
Golden
area.
Gate. The Golden Gate Bridge out there in the foreground there, of course, my hometown of San Francisco, my home city. Yeah, so I that's the aspect of this game that I really loved. Yeah, so yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
Good old override tool.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to get Carl back, but
he's back.
Well, he's back, but yeah, he's gonna have to log out and get back in again. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, this was one of my game of the year nominees. I mean, I love this game. So
Well, it was a great game last year. It unfortunately just came out at the wrong time.
Yeah,
because it got buried by Elden Ring.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great looking game.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, Carl, any last thoughts on the climate change in the games and the topic?
No.
Everything
I got
okay?
nothing left.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
gonna get cut off and lose my thought process and
Yeah.
ramble on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was our topic of the show. So now it's time to move on to our new game releases. You can check out the new game releases over at releases.com. The link is below for all you video viewers. So we're kind of setting a precedent in this episode, a new precedent where I don't think we've ever done this before, where we have picked the exact same game. Usually when we do the new game releases, we have a different game that we choose from. But this week we decided that this one game is, this is pretty much the most anticipated game of the week. And we would choose this game overall. And obviously it is Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is coming out on the 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the gameplay footage as well as read the description of the game. So yeah, excited for this game, as a lot of people are. So let's go ahead and get to it. So Hogwarts Legacy is an immersive open world action RPG set in the world first introduced in the Harry Potter books. Now you can take control of the action and be at the center of your own adventure in the wizarding world. Embark on a journey through familiar and new locations as you explore and discover fantastic beasts, customize your character, and craft potions, master spell casting, upgrade talents, and become the wizard you want to be. Experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. You have received a late acceptance to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic. Only you can decide if you will protect this secret for the good of all, or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. Discover the feeling of living at Hogwarts as you make allies, battle dark wizards, and ultimately decide the fate of the wizarding world. Your legacy is what you make of it. So it comes out on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X on February 10th. So yeah, that is our pick of the week. So I'll throw it to you guys. Burley, I know you're probably going to be playing this day one. And Carl, maybe on the Xbox Series at some point. Go ahead, take it away, guys. What are you most looking forward to in this game? Burley, I'll start with you.
Yes, I am playing this day one. I actually bought the deluxe edition to get the game early on the Tuesday release. So I'm just most looking forward just to exploring and see how much this world we can get into. Because as growing up, I was a huge Harry Potter fan, and I love the world that we got through the books. So I'm interested to see how much of this are we going to get to go through and explore.
Carl?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a third person sort of, action RPG. Pretty, it reminds me of like the best of that genre, like like Western ones like Witcher 3, for example, like those
Yeah.
type of games, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, Harry Potter world and lore is just incredibly interesting place, right, to set your your game. And this is the first original story, as far as I know. I think most if not all of the other Harry Potter games were all like movie tie-ins type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
except that
Lego Harry Potter games and all those. Yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
only
well,
like
those are-
non-movie tie-in ones were like the Quidditch spin-off games.
Yeah, which I imagine aren't really telling much of a story at all, right? So yeah, I mean, I am also interested to see what Harry Potter, world and stories are like without J.K. Rowling writing them.
Yeah.
Because I think all of us, everyone is aware that there is a big controversy surrounding her, and I think it's fair to bring it up whenever you bring up this game because, it's an ongoing controversy because the creator is an anti-trans activist, right? She is not just someone who has said bad things. She is actively pushing an agenda and still doing it, right? So if that is a problem for you, if you feel strongly about that, you make your choice. That is perfectly acceptable and a good thing to do. That's all I really wanted to say about that. You gotta enjoy. You can't let everything going on in the world take away your enjoyment as well.
Right.
Because if you do that, you're not going to be using much of any products anywhere.
Yeah.
Anything you wear, you probably not made in good conditions. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I'm-
curious to see with this game, since it is an original story, if this takes off and does well, how many other companies are going to try and get the license and do their own original stories? Be
That's
interested
the
to
thing.
see.
I want to see movies and a TV show, written by someone else. Let's get that franchise away. Let's get it Star Wars. Just get it sold to someone else. Get the original person out of there, and see where it can go. Because I think there's so much more potential for it as a franchise to grow into other things.
Right. Right. All right. So that was our pick of the week for, of course, the week of February 6th through the 12th. So you can go and check out all of the new game releases on releases.com. So next up, we're going to be talking about, of course, PlayStation Plus games for February. Burley, take it away. What do we have for this month?
This month, it's an interesting month. So it's a lot of PS5, PS4 kind of slash month. We got Evil Dead, the game. So we've got that coming PS5, PS4. So groovy. Get your shotguns out.
It's a cool looking
Your
one.
chase.
Yeah.
We also have Ollie Ollie World, little skateboard game. That one I've been interested to try, as well as the Evil Dead. So it is nice that I don't have to buy these games. We also have Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which I think was the latest expansion for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
That's the thing. I haven't kept up with Destiny. Not my thing. And then for the last one, just for PS4, Mafia Definitive Edition, which I've never actually played any of the Mafia games. I've heard good things, so I have to see this because they say this is a full remake. I actually got to see if it actually is a full remake because there's so many of these remakes or remasters that are like it's fully remastered, and you find out no, it isn't.
Yeah, Mafia Definitive Edition. That's a great game, as well as Mafia 2. But I mean, I've played that like many times. So Ollie Ollie World looks interesting. I want to try that one. I think Evil Dead, maybe play for a few hours and have some fun with that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Ali Ali World's a fairly highly rated indie game.
yeah. Yep, good stuff. All righty. All right. So those were the PlayStation Plus essential lineup of games for the month of February. Obviously, later on, we're going to get the games for the extra and premium later on, and of course, when we get those, we will be showing them to you as well. So
Game Pass, I assume, will announce on next Tuesday, the 7th. We'll
Yeah,
see if they
yeah.
get back into the cadence because they kind of fell out of it at the end of December and in January. So.
Right. So, and we'll be bringing you any other new releases that they announce next week for Game Pass as well. So, all righty. So it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. So, so Hi-Fi Rush, I want to try to finish that this coming week, and then I'm probably going to get into High on Life. I wanted to get into that last week, but I didn't have a chance. Was doing a lot of uploading of videos this past week. So hopefully I'll get a chance to try that one out as well. So Carl, how about you?
Hi-Fi Rush should finish that by the time. Cut out again.
Burley, go ahead, man. What are you going to be playing this coming week?
I'm gonna finish up Crisis Core for streaming, Hogwarts
Mhm.
Legacy for the obvious, and then on my off time, keep working through One Piece Odyssey and Fire Emblem Engage.
Cool. Yeah. Do you think you'll finish Fire Emblem Engage?
Oh, I'll finish Fire Emblem Engage. Just it's not
Nice.
gonna be before Hogwarts Legacy. I'll be completely honest because these Fire Emblem games they are like a good 20 something hour games easy. And I like to sit and take my time and have fun with it.
Yeah. Carl,
Am I actually back?
you're actually
Yeah.
back. Yeah, go ahead. What are you going to be playing this next week? Yeah.
I'm going to finish off Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think I have too much left, but I should be
Okay.
able to get through that without much trouble. And I love it. I want to get to the end. I do want to play more of that Midnight Suns trial because I was fairly impressed, and I want to see how it sort of gets deeper as far as customization and things like that.
Cool.
And I was going to try, but I didn't get to the Guilty Gear Strive open beta like network test. That's on because that game's coming to Xbox for the first time. It's going to be in Game Pass, but they're doing this sort of open beta that's like cross-platform online
nice.
play test. Yeah, so I just wanted to check out that game because Guilty Gear Strive looks amazing, and I've always wanted to check out one of the more recent titles.
Cool. All right. Okay. So we want to apologize for, of course, some of the the technical difficulties we had in this episode. Yeah, I don't know if it's restream or whatever, but
because my internet is not going out. This time, you know what I just did? I had my command prompt open. I did an IP config release and then renew just to refresh my thing. And as soon as I renewed it, it popped back on, and you guys came right back on, and I was in like pretty much right away. So I don't know if that means anything positive for what's going to happen in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, it's bound to happen once in a while. So anyway. All right, so it's time to talk about our indie recording artist spotlight, and then of course at the end of our show, for our video viewers, I'll have a cool little gameplay compilation with it. So this week's spotlight is on Dr. Paranoid. Dr. Paranoid is a composer, producer, and multi-instrumentalist with an eclectic vision and a taste for dark corners and loud music. Explorer and wanderer of sonic worlds, he has created music spanning many genres, but is in his element in lush cinematic orchestral atmospheres, soothing electronica and dirty rock and roll. Obsessing over tone, harmony, and obscure sound combinations, Dr. Paranoid has extensive experience in various formats of the audiovisual media. From the title song of his album called 1989, The Sequel. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 121. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Brilliman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. we hope to catch you in the next episode. And of course, this episode will be going ad-free to our Patreon. So for all of you patrons, you'll get the ad-free version. And of course, it will go up to all our audio feeds as well in audio format. So anyway, we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.